Hey Yanik, so this is what I gathered from doing the audit on your entire website. There's some good that we can work off of, but we have a few things that we can work that I think will help with your website as far as like the conversions along with the user experience. Um, the primary focus that I want to go through is the um, surface level on the website tweaks that we can make, and along with a little bit more depth of like why these will help your website work out. So, starting from the very top, um, you have elevating businesses and then predictable revenue, peaceful leadership. In my opinion, you could go a little bit more in depth as far as like who you help, and then in the subheader going into how you help them, um, which leads into the call to action. So this is a great structure for your hero section. Like this is called the above the fold, and above the fold is literally like the entry to a storefront. So on here, maybe I could see it helpful to your website to where you would actually go through and elaborate a little bit more on like whose businesses you elevate, right? Like the sales teams or the type of market that you offer, and then how you help them, right? Like, like I said, predictable revenue. So is that through sales training? Is that through updating systems? You don't have to go super in depth, but two or three sentences would help, and then that call to action from there. I love the website has the credibility at the top. So you have the people as seen on, or the people that you've worked with, which establishes like the names that you have, or the brands that you've worked with. Um, from there. So another great part is you're establishing that credibility. You have a testimonial, and I love that you have the vision of the person giving the testimonial. This is great because it's not just some made up text, or it also just connects the dots between what they said and the company that you've worked for, if that makes sense. Um, the homepage is, so you got to think like this is the entry of your storefront, and then this is like building up like the how people walk through the site. So one of the things I would add on the homepage is your services or your offerings. So you offer sales team optimization and sales leadership development. You offer resources. So right below the testimonial, I would go in and add in a services section. Literally, uh, you could do three buttons with three pictures, or you could do um, like three itemized pictures. But this is a great section for you to add your services, because not everybody's going to know to go to your section or your navigation bar at the top. Like I said, you really want to guide your customer or your client while they're on your site. So I would go on, I would add in that services section, and then below it, keep that schedule a discovery session, discover a discovery call. I like your call to action of I'm ready to get started, because it really is more assertive, or kind of gives the client the direction. One of the things with call to actions is you don't want to use um, passive call to actions, and this is very common. I feel like this stands out with your brand, especially after looking at the brand recognition. Um, the brand template that you sent. So let's get into the really ugly of the site. So I use a software called Wave, and this just elaborates on how the page is structured from an access point, but also just how the page is structured. The very first thing that I would change and elaborate on is that you don't have any H1 tags on the website. So Google and any search engine doesn't really understand what the website is for. So your H tags is the alignment of the page, right? Like think about the chapters in a book. Your H1 is your very most. It's the chapter title, and it's the very thing that helps them understand. Then you go to H2, which is like an elaboration on what the page or the site is about, and the H3s is just kind of like the sub priority. Like it's kind of like a third thought. And on here, I would never have an H4 this high. Um, I your H4s are literally like your footers. Like your H4s are, I don't want to say exactly non-existent, but they are pretty low on. It just means they're not as high regarded information on the page. Um, so if this is not important, then I would remove it. But for sure, I would make this your H1 if you keep it elevating businesses, or if you change it, and then this would remain the H2. So it'd be H1, H2. Um, I'm not sure if this isn't. These are images, but these are fine. This image right here, I can't remember which platform you're on. I think you said Wix. But on the images, you do want to go through and make sure that they have a title, a caption, and an alt text in there. A caption does well for SEO and search results, and the alt text is good for readability for those who have disability, but also helps the website when it's crawled understand what's in the content, right? So you know, if when you go into the website, you could there's an alt text section, and you could literally say, local manager Michelle giving testimony from AGI, or CEO of AGI Michelle giving a 5-star review of the evolution from her business, or however you want to word it. So like this would be a great H3. Like this is like basically H3 is leading to the next page on the website in a sort. The next thing I would do, and this is for the entire site itself, is I would significantly update your footer section, right? So your footer section is kind of like the end of a book in a very sort way. It's kind of like the table of contents, I would say. Um, and so when your footer section, um, I would add the business contact info, so your number and your email, or whatever you're comfortable putting on there, but at least a minimum of contact email. The business address, once again, if it's your home address, don't put it on there, but for sure your business address, and any quick links. So basically, your services, your resources, your blog, your contacts, like this is all should be down here. Great job. Added your socials. Um, but for sure, we need to get your at least an updated email and the quick links in this section, bare minimum. From there, moving on to the sales team optimization. Um, this page has a lot of information. So there's two things actually. This section right here, your about me, is really, really great. I think it would stand out more if you put the about me section on your homepage. So what I would do is take that about me section that you have, like I said, add the services, do the schedule discovery call, do the about me, and then do your footer section. That is really powerful, and that can lead to your about page, or a different section of the website that you prefer. One thing I noticed about this page, I don't know if you did it on purpose or if it's just the way that the website was built, but on the sales team optimization page, for some reason, the navigation bar disappears. So literally, I'm stuck on this page unless I back out or retype the URL. I'll fix that immediately. Starting from the top of the page, we definitely need to fix this above the fold. Your above the fold should be, think about the above the fold as the hook and caption, right? So it should grab the attention and tell the client what to do within 7 seconds. Like they should be able to understand that. So what I would do is reduce this down. So I would keep this, add in another I'm ready to get started button, and then take all of this text and move it below this fold. It's just a lot to digest in the one section. So what I'll do is take this down, and then that would allow you to shrink the image, move this schedule my sales team audit at the top of the page, and go from there. When I'm looking at the page, I love that your system gives you a breakdown step by step of how it works, what to do as far as the behavior, the data, the leadership, the retention. Another call to action, which is great. Um, I believe that more call to actions help with conversions because you're literally trying to guide the customer or client through the website. I would do something different about these clips. I'm not sure if they're supposed to play, but I do know that that link led to these videos right here. But from your average user, they probably don't understand what's supposed to go on. So I would add maybe one whole image, or make them videos up here. So I'd either choose to make this a button for you to view the testimonials, or just make these images that lead to the testimonials. But I would change that because it just kind of leaves like people hanging on those pages. Same thing, great ability on how it works. This is for you if you know your technical founder. I'd move this to the home page. Your next step. I would actually move these up. I would actually prefer that these are a little bit higher. This talks about your system. But these are your services. So the paradigm blueprint or the 7-step checklist. I would, because you have our system, what makes us different is what was it? Your next step. So like you have your system, and then you say you have how it works. I would almost like these almost feel redundant, so I'd almost see like honestly I would put these on the homepage as well when I think back about it. Just because you're kind of you're kind of confusing on what's supposed to happen, right? So you have your system. All right, cool. We'll go to the sales team audit. How it works. Okay, free discovery call. And then actually looking at that, I would actually reverse these as well. So like how it works, you know, this is the discovery call, then the optimization plan, and then the implementation. I'll switch that because that makes more sense than our system, and then goes from there, and then moving that up. But I would almost prefer that this and this are on your homepage. And then same thing, schedule your free call, which is great. What your clients say about this. This is really, really great. I would actually prefer that, because like these are the kind of the same thing, and it's really deep on the page. So like you would have this, keep that. You have your testimonials, keep have this about me, and then move your testimonials up, and then have your schedule your free call, and then the calculator is a good thing. So that's what I like about this page. Now we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. So one thing that is hurting your site is that there is no meta description on the page. So the meta description is what pops up in search results. So once again, that's like a brief 160 character breakdown of what the sales system overhaul is, which can really help your SEO if you have that in there. Same thing for like this is the description. So like this is great. This is on your homepage, right? So you need to have that done on your sales team optimization. Now, one of the things I really fix also is that there's a huge gap on the bottom. I would fix that. So on here, I'm not sure how many pixels it is. Let's see. looks like you have a pretty huge gap on there. So on that, that's probably 800 pixels. I would shrink that down to like 40, right? Like you probably want just as much white space here, which looks like about 80 pixels, maybe 100. I'd actually go closer to like 50 or 60 up here, and then 50, 60 down there, and then add that footer section we were talking about for that section. Once again, on this page, one of the things that we are missing are the tags. So we have one H1 tag, and it's actually way down on the page. So imagine you're reading this book to everybody, and now you're telling them what's important and not important. And for some reason, this is the most important thing on there. This needs to be an H. This would be an H4. Like this does not bring any structure to the page. This would be my H1. This would be my H2. These are paragraphs. H2. These would be like the H3s because these are a little bit of an elaboration. This should be labeled as a paragraph. H3, how it works. Or sorry, H2, then H3. H2, and then change these to a different page from there. So these are great H3s. These are just testimonials from that page right there. Also, let's see, the hero section. Next page, checklist, navigation. Okay, so now let's move on to the sales development page. So see how I have to click back. Like that will be frustrating for a customer, right? You want to make it as easy and flowing as possible. Moving on to the sales development. So this is great. I'm actually going to check this first so we can kind of go over that. Change this to an H1. This should be H2. Schedule a call. I'll make that pink. That's one thing I noticed to your site is I would find a uniform color for all your call to action buttons. I like the pink, and I like the I'm ready to book a call. I'd make them consistent throughout the whole site. Just easier and flows better for the people. Actually, on this site or on this page, I think this page had 5 H1s. So this is actually the exact opposite that you want. So the rule of thumb is that you only want one H1 tag per page. So on here, you have, and then also this is messed up. So this is an H1 for some reason. Where's the other H's at? Yep. So then we have the H1 here, the people who pay them. Then we have FAQs, which does not need to be an H1. And then we have, that. So what's going on is now you're telling Google all these are super important. When in reality, none of these need to, you only need one. But if you do have multiple H1s, then that's when you get to the point where you just make a new page for it, right? So if we really wanted to, I would make another page called What Our Clients Say About Us, which would be great because you have so many testimonials, which is phenomenal. But this, I would take away those H1s and change them to H2s on that page. The cost calculator needs to be fixed. For some reason, it's in a single line, and the borders are out of the page, and it's overlapping. So we need to fix that. I love the sales rep stories. And then we need to fix this gap. This is a huge gap. So I don't know if these videos disappeared or if it's a function on the back end. Tighten that up. I mean, you're probably in the 300 range right here. Tighten that up to maybe like 40. That's good. Leave a good gap there. From that, ready to begin. I love this. Same thing. Figure out what you want for your call to action. I tighten this gap up. So shrink it down. Just makes it easier and flow better for the page. Ask questions. This is a great form to have. I like to put send. I like to say send email. You never want to assume what they know. So like send email, send form, something that elaborates a little bit. and then fix that footer that we're talking about on there. Resources, so the opportunity calculator. This page is solid. It's just a resource for the people. Same thing with your ebook. You have the ability to sell. That's something you could probably put on your homepage that you wanted. Ad spend calculator. Oh, that's one thing I want to talk about. So on your sales team optimization, the copy on this page feels more like a brochure or pamphlet more than like building the picture for the client, right? So going back to the sales team optimization page, um, your copy has the page feels like a checklist. I'd rather write the copy to that what the customer can expect in the process, right? So the result, like yeah, so like how are they getting the result, right? Like you get the 30%, 30 to 60% revenue growth with an average of 12 weeks, but really what's going on here is I'm just seeing a bunch of like numbers and stats, right? Like I feel like I'm on ESPN plus 98% retention. Like, well, hey, like because of the years of training we had, and what we do by like, you know your process better than I, but hey, whether you're these are for the tech founders, the CEOs, the sales directors, um, who want revenue growth for their company. Average results is in 12 weeks. We use a process that is thought out, da 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 da. But I would prefer that this is more of a conversation more than a checklist. And same thing with here. Like these all feel like checklists, like kind of, and I have copywriters, but I feel like changing the language on this page would help give you a boost on that as well. Let's see. Well, let's go back to recruiting planner. The blog. I love the blog. Shows that you keep up with it somewhat frequently. Um, Once a month is very good. I see that there's gaps, but staying consistently like once a month, at least twice a month, would be very well. One thing I would do for you is, especially since you're active on social media and YouTube, that would function very well. Is I would um, make a video, put it on YouTube. Once you've uploaded it to YouTube, put that in a blog post on your site. Once you have a video on YouTube, you can actually transcribe the video and put that as the context or the text that are on the site. And that'll do very good because it's putting you in the search engine. It's putting you on YouTube, which pops up in search results, and then it helps with the SEO of the website for your blog section. So I would do that. Same thing. We need a consistent call to action. So I'm ready to book a call. Um, Stagger this a little bit. I'd put it in the middle, have this over top, fix the footer. The about page. The about page, I love this. I love having pictures of the company, of the people, of the owner. I'd actually prefer this more than the videos that we have through the site. It's like a credibility thing. This is very great. Predictable revenue, peaceful leadership. Um, Still like to elaborate a little bit more, but I love that my approach is built on one belief. You can have predictable profits, peaceful leadership without sacrificing one for the other. Like that's very good. Um, I'm Yanik, your business growth strategist and leadership. Like this is a very, very good and well thought about me section. Same thing. I'm ready to get started. That's what I think we need to go back through. Is some of these buttons lead to nothing. So I'm getting ready to get started. This, where am I supposed to go? Is this to the calendar? To this the audit? Is this internally linked? We need to fix that. And then the video for the a bit more about me. Love these. Like this is very powerful. Um, Very good here. Interesting. Like this is walking them through. They said it. Same thing with this one is when I analyzed it, this doesn't have an alt text. Do the same thing on that. Like your about page is very solid. Um, Same thing with this one. Your about page does not have an H1 text. It just has a bunch of H2s and H3s. So it hurts the crawlability and the search engine results of how the page functions. Um, One of the things that I noticed throughout the site is that there were, so like, yeah, I would do like your team, like you or you in a conference or you in a meeting here. I mean, this is fun. This is good. Like it expresses your personality. So if you don't want to change it, I love it. But like the more that you can get of your business, like since you don't have like a product per se, it's more about you. Um, that's kind of what I would think, but it's okay either way. Um, as far as concerns with the site, yep. So this doesn't lead anywhere. It's a broken link. So this is on your homepage. That's broken. Schedule a call. Yeah. So your buttons need to be fixed. Um, I would enlarge the text a little bit. This would help with the readability, um, which helps with the site. And like I said, I would find the color like this hover how it kind of fades out. That's great. And I'm ready to get started. I would literally go through the whole site and just make those all the same. The pink with the hover. I'm ready to get started. Um, all throughout that. So hey, I'm ready to get started. Pink with the hover. All throughout that. The other thing that I want to go through is sales team development. Let's see what happened with this one. So that one has a description. Let's see if the about has a description. I think it's only that one. Yeah, so like these have great descriptions. Um, I would actually shorten them. Like I said, you want to be. It might have changed. I gotta double check, but it's like 160 characters. But this is a little lengthy. You can revise it to be a little bit shorter. Same thing with this. This is actually too long for that area. Um, I would say because this is the about page. Yanik Medor, the business growth leadership. Your partner in creating excellence for your business with growth and leadership, or the business growth consultant and leadership coach, but shortening that down as well. Uh, like yeah, sales team overhaul, business growth and leadership. That's literally how all your pages should be. Is like the title, and then the service. Add a description for this page, and a navigation. Uh, yep, same thing. Sales team, like this is great. Yep, it's like 164 characters. Fix that button. Probably. Yep. So we have broken buttons, which is a significant thing where, you're probably losing high end clients just off of that. So that's what I got. Um, this is all the front end stuff that I can analyze. Um, we can fix that. I noticed that in your brand guide. Um, Also, I don't know if you have a Google business profile, but once we get the website fixed, like getting consistent on your Google business profile with those updates as far as the photos and services, like once we get those two things running consistently, I think we'll be able to get you a lot more leads online along with the ads that you're already running. But I'll upload this, and if you have any questions, obviously text me or email me. Thanks.